Okay, so we have done so far question number 1 to 10, right? So 11 onwards. So these are the para-summary based questions, so where the directions for questions are like there are 4 alternative summaries are given, and out of that we need to find out which one is the best option that captures the essence of the text, isn't it? So you have done 11 to 15. Okay, no issue. 11. Question number 11. Good. 12. Great. 13. No. Okay. 14. No. 15. Okay. 13 and 14 would be C and B. Then we'll go for the question 21 to 25. So here you would find out there is a sentence that is missing in the paragraph below, and we need to find out which of the option that completes the blank, isn't it? Okay, question number 21. No, it shall not be A. Okay, 22. Good. 23. Good. 24. No. C. 25. And 21 B. 22 A. 23 B. 24 C. 25 B. Right? Okay. Now you have done somehow called to 20 questions. Right? Out of the 20 questions, if you have any doubts in a jumbled sentence, para-summary and sentence replacement, you may ask. Question number 1. So it's a jumbled sentence question. Let's see that. So here it's a minimum 4 sentences have been given here, and we need to make them orderly kept so that it presents the logical thought and the theme also. When we go for the para-jumbled question, we know that different rules and formulas that or tricks or strategy beside that understanding of the language that are necessary. Fine. Let's go to the question. What does the question ask you? While some draw parallels between celebrities and other kinds of phenomena, no one systematically relates celebrities and celebrity culture to a more general analysis of status systems, isn't it? Hey, now what do you understand from this first statement? While some draw, it begins with while, isn't it? Which is indication of what? At the same time. Now while is nothing but a kind of a additional indicator, which indicates that there will be a same kind of idea presented before. So we consider that this cannot be this may not be a introducing sentence. So, but what does this sentence try to point out beside this? Some draw parallels between celebrities and other kinds of fact. No one systematically relates celebrities and celebrity culture to a more general analysis of status systems, isn't it? So this statement talks about nothing but celebrities and celebrity culture, right? So now look into the second sentence. In addition to the multitude of journalistic accounts, scholars have considered celebrities from the perspective of history, cultural criticism, power elites, contemporary politics, cultural sociology, religion and cultural studies, right? Now second sentence again begin with what? In addition to. It means it also tells some of the other kind of means what do we say that perspective, right? So beside some different kinds of a perspective, right? It also adds some more perspective, like what journalistic account scholars have considered celebrities from the perspective of history, cultural criticism, power elites, contemporary politics, cultural sociology, religion, and cultural studies. Now, again, option 2 also stated about celebrity, right? So, option 1 also stated about celebrity culture, and you can talk about celebrities and celebrity culture, isn't it? Now, 1 and 2 have a same kind of what do we say that theme, right, about celebrity, right? Now, 3 say celebrities have been analyzed from a number of viewpoints. Now, if you observe option 1 and 2, 3 introduces with the noun by stating that celebrities have been analyzed from a number of viewpoints. Now, this makes the sense of introducing. Why? Now, because you introduce with the noun celebrities and stated about they have been analyzed from a number of viewpoints. Now, what are those viewpoints? Isn't it? Yeah, so that's what we need to see. What are those viewpoints? Now, before we jump to the looking into 1 and 2, whether connected to the option 3 or not, we need to read the last sentence 4. So the 4 said, nearly all discussions at least allude to the fact that celebrities are part of our status or prestige system. Right? Now, 4 doesn't indicate that it would connect to the option 3, because 3 stated about analyzed, celebrities have been analyzed from a number of viewpoints. Now, we need to talk about what are those viewpoints, right? So, if I talk about 1, while some draw parallels, right, between celebrities and other kinds of phenomena, right, no one systematically relates celebrities and celebrity culture, right? Now, when we talk about this one, after that 2 doesn't make sense, because 2 says means celebrities have been analyzed from a number of viewpoints. In addition to that, right, the multitude of journalistic accounts scholars have considered celebrities' criticism, right, not only analyzed from a number of viewpoints of the celebrities, but also the number of the kind of a criticism, the kind of a power these celebrities have, the kind of a contemporary politics, right or not, cultural sociology, religion, and cultural studies. Now, these are associated with what? Celebrities. Got my point? So, in that case, 3 and 2 makes the sense by stating that celebrities have been analyzed number of viewpoints and criticized. Celebrities have been criticized and celebrities have been looked at on the perspective of the history. Isn't it? So 3 and 2 makes the sense, and therefore we keep it as a one of the pair. Now coming to the next one. The next one is called as when you discuss all such kind of things, viewpoints, you talk about criticism, you talk about politics, you talk about cultural sociology, right, cultural studies. Now you discuss all discussions. Nearly all discussions at least allude to the fact that celebrities are part of a status or prestige system. So these are the discussions which are given in a 3 and 2. 3 and 2 gives all these discussions. No, nearly all these discussions show about celebrity status or prestige, right or not? So in that case 4 would come after that.
Sir, but 1 is also a discussion.
No, what does it say? Now it says that nearly all discussion at least allude to the fact celebrities are part of a status or prestige system, while some draw. It means you talk about all, right? After that you talk about among all, you find out some are there, isn't it? Some draw parallel between celebrity and other kinds of phenomena. Now in that case, you talk about celebrity status or prestige system, right? One stated about means there is also parallel between what or means what do we say that equality between celebrity and other kinds of fact. No one systematically relates celebrities and celebrity culture, right? This could be called as kind of a concluding statement. Why? Now because means one introduces with the celebrity, right, viewpoints. Second indicates about criticism and other discussions. So four combined all these things and stating that all discussions have been done, right, and out of that the result comes out that celebrities are part of a status or prestige system, while at the same time some draw parallels between celebrity and other kinds of fact, but no one systematically makes no one systematically relates celebrity and celebrity culture, right? So in that case, 3, 2, 4, 1 would be the kind of a sequence we find out. So when you make the sequence 3, 2, it's a pair, 4 and 1, it's another pair, right? We need to understand that 3 and 2 states what, and 4 and 1 means how connect to each other. So the kind of tricks or strategy that we apply here, it's called as we find out introducing sentence, right, beginning with the noun, right, and introducing the idea about celebrity. Second, it's called as in addition to, which is the additional information indicator that connects to the 3 by stating that what, now number of viewpoints, right, beside that criticism from all areas, right. So that's a 3 and 2 pair. 4 with indicating that 3 and 2's discussions are all, right. So, and that gives the concluding statement, celebrities have status or prestige system. 1 where there is a difference, right. The author pointed that nobody understands celebrity and celebrity culture. Got my point? So 3, 2, 4, 1 would be the kind of a sequence here. Got? Okay. Any other question? Question number 4. Okay. So if I go to the question number 4, it's again another jumbled sentence question. 4 said, technological change is an evolutionary process, very much like biological change is an evolutionary process. Now in that case, technological change is compared with the biological change, stating that what? Technological change is an evolutionary process, right? Now this could be a kind of an introducing sentence, right? Why? Because it begins with the technological process, introducing with the noun, right? Let's look at the other sentence. 2. In many popular narratives, invention is an act performed by heroes such as Thomas Edison and Tim Berners-Lee, right? So question option 2 stated, in many popular narratives, invention is an act performed by heroes such as Thomas Edison and Tim Berners-Lee. Now option 1 stated about technological process is an evolutionary process. Option 2 stated that in many popular stories, invention is an act performed by heroes. So you talk about 2 of the greatest persons named Thomas Edison and Tim Berners-Lee, but it states about invention. 3. What drives technological change? Now it's a question. Given in option 3, what drives technological change? Now in that case, when we look into the option 3, it makes us a kind of a thought. One cannot be the introducing sentence. Why? Now because 3 stated what drives technological change. The first is called a question. Then you give the answer to it.
Sir, but what is technological change that is mentioned?
What drives technological change? Right? What makes, right, or what forces technological change, right? So it means what? It asks that what certain things are there which nothing but a reason behind technological change, isn't it? Now we need to find out that answer, right or not? Instead of going to one, because we understand, okay, one is the introducing sentence, take it like that. But 3 puts a question. We need to see that if 3 puts a question, then definitely 3 gives an answer to it. Any of the option will give the answer to it. Now see that 4 said, in reality, technological change comes about through an incremental process that involves a great deal of trial and error and networks of people working in ecosystem of innovation. Now if you observe 4, right, 4 makes a kind of a means answer to it by stating what? In reality, right, technological change comes about through an incremental process, isn't it? Now 4 states the answer of 3, but at the same time the beginning of the line which is stated in reality, which makes us thought that another answer is also given, 2, isn't it? So 3 gives what? Now what drives technological change? In many popular narratives, right? So invention is an act performed by heroes such as Thomas Edison and Tim Berners-Lee. Now this indicates nothing but the change. So the great invention is nothing but forces technological change. So that's why 3, 2 makes a pair. So if 3 and 2 makes a pair, then 4 is indicating what? In reality, right? Technological change comes about through an incremental process that involves a great deal. So 3 to 4 makes a sense here. Then 1 is the last one.
Sir, I was just confused with one position. I kept in the first.
Yeah, so because the thought is called as your question comes first, right? I do agree with that 1 would be the introducing sentence. But once you look at the other 3 options, right? So then means when you arrange other 3 options, then 1 seems like what? The last one, right? Because when we look into the 1 indicates the technological change is an evolutionary process, right? Now in that case you talk about what is that evolution? What is that evolution? So what drives technological change? So then you talk about the stories invention के बारे में कहाँ पे introduce हुआ है? 2 में, right? Invention के बारे में 2 में introduce हुआ है, तो 2 किसका आंसर है? 3 का ही आंसर है. What drives technological change? Invention drives technological change. Examples of invention, you would find out that Thomas Edison and Tim Berners-Lee, right? In reality, technological change comes about through an incremental process that involves a great deal of trial and error, right? And that is what called as invention, isn't it? And the networks are for people working in ecosystem of innovation. Therefore, 1 comes after it. So in that case, 3, 2, 4, 1 would be the correct sequence. Yeah, go ahead. Next one. Next, question number 5. Okay, so what does 5 say here? But that did not include those working or trafficked into place trade, as many of these people lack government-approved documentation to access public funds and relief schemes. Now, looking into the first one, we find out it introduces with the but, which is a contrast indicator. So, generally we don't introduce the sentence usually with a contrast indicator. But in paradoxical question, you can't predict anything, right? But beside that, we also identify that it is indicating about the topic called trafficking, right? Trafficking into place trade, isn't it? And it is stated that as many of these people lack government-approved documentation to access public funds and relief schemes. So we understand that we can assume that it is indicating about the people who are working on the place trade right? They don't have any kind of a support from the government side, right? Or they do not get the government relief. Now, option 2 said, however, it conveniently excluded certain segments of poor people, right? Again, 2 begins with the contrasting indicated, however, right? And said that it conveniently exclude certain segments of poor people. It conveniently segregates, right? When we say that it conveniently excluded, it refers to what? What conveniently exclude, right? So certain segments of poor people, it may be referred to the place where people, right? Because we have read it in a one, right? Look into the option 3. The Indian government introduced a $22.5 billion COVID-19 relief package for the poor, right? Now in that case, if I look into the 2, it conveniently excluded certain segments of poor people. So we can consider that Indian government introduced 22.5 billion COVID-19 relief package for the poor, right? But that package excluded certain segments of the poor people. Isn't it? Now you make the sense. 3 and 2 gets a kind of a sense because Indian government introduced some amount for the poor people, right? It is stated that this package for the poor, but it excluded to a certain segments of the poor. It means there are poor people, but among the poor also you find out that certain section which is called as maybe poorer than the poor, isn't it? So for them, right? So 3 and 2 makes a sense. So let's make a pair to it, isn't it? And how do we connect it? We find out 3 introduces with the Indian government introduced a kind of a statement introduced with the noun, right? 2 stated that pronoun it refers to who? Means the Indian government introduced the kind of a package. So it refers to the noun clause, right? 3-2. So then 4 said, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced that 6.56 or $500 rupees would be deposited to the bank account of 200 million people every month, right? Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced that $6.566 or 500 rupees would be deposited to the bank account of 200 million every month, right? Now what does this point out? Now when we say that 3 and 2 stated 3 introduced to a $22.5 billion COVID-19 relief package for the poor and 2 said that it excluded certain segments of poor people, then 4 is said Indian Prime Minister announced 500 would be deposited to the bank accounts of 200 million every month, right? Now in that case we can say this could be a package for the poor people, isn't it? So 1 said, but that did not include those working or trafficked into slave trade. Now we understood that 3 and 2 make sense that where Indian government introduced something, 2 is stated that certain poor people are not included. So 4 stated Indian Prime Minister also introduced, right? Also introduced 500 rupees to each and everyone's account, right? Every month. But at the same time, certain section which is indicated as a flesh, right? Flesh trade. So they were also not included, isn't it? So 3-2, 4-1, right? So why not 4-1, 3-2? Because 3 is stated about the Indian government. 4 is introduced with the Mr. Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister, right? So in that case, we can say 3-2 is indicated about COVID-19 case, right? For which means money is allotted, and 4 is indicated that Prime Minister announced to all people, 200 million people, right? Isn't it? 200 million people. One is stated that slave trade people were not included. Right? It's a two pair. Right? So that's why 3241 would be the correct sequence. Yes. Any other question? Question number 7. What does question number 7 point out here? It was he who masterminded her climb back to the top of the rock and roll heap. Right? It was he who masterminded her climb back to the top of the rock and roll heap. So this is nothing but indicating as a kind of a statement where we introduce somebody who was masterminded, isn't it? Now who was he? He refers to any of the person, right? And his name must be mentioned somewhere, right or not? And that's why if we look into the question option 2, that is what called as a noun-pronoun relationship approach. In 1979, Tina Turner, right? Tina Turner discussed management with the Los Angeles Best from headed by Lee Kramer, who introduced her to her present manager, Roger Davis, right? Now it's a kind of a confusing statement because 3 names are given. So in 1979, Tina Turner discussed management with the Los Angeles Best from headed by Lee Kramer, who introduced her to her present manager, Roger Davis, isn't it? So you are talking about Tina Turner, right? So in that case, it was he who masterminded her climb back to the top of the rock and roll heap. So in that case, we can talk about Tina Turner, right? 2 and 1 can be a pair here, right? Now 3 said, having an ambition to try screen acting, Turner accepted director George Miller's offer to star with Mel Gibson in Mad Max, Beyond Thunderdome, but turned down Steven Spielberg when he was casting the lead in The Color Purple, right or not? So again 3 is stated about what? Means about whom? You can say Tina Turner, right? And stated about how Tina Turner accepted the director George Miller's offer to star with Mel Gibson in Mad Max, right? So, but turned down Steven Spielberg when he was casting the lead in The Color Purple, right? Again, it is stated about Tina Turner. 4 stated in 84. In 1984, their work came to fruition. Their work means whose work? Whose work? You are talking about Tina Turner and Lee Kramer and Roger Davis, right? So in 1984, their work came to fruition with the release of Private Dancer, which owned 3 Grammys and had sold 10 million copies worldwide.
Sir, but their work can also be Turner and George Miller's.
How do you draw that? Now let's say 2 and 1 is fine, right? So it was he who masterminded her climb back to the top of the rock and roll heap. What does it indicate? Now here you start with time sequence approach. Let's look into the time sequence approach. Let's look into the introducing indicator. 1 cannot be the beginning sentence because it introduces he. He means refer to any of the person given in option 2. Now in option 2 we find out in 1979, right? Tina Turner discussed management with the Los Angeles Best firm headed by Lee Kramer, who introduced her to her, right? Her to her present manager Roger Davis, right? Now it was Roger Davis, right, who masterminded Tina Turner climb back to the top of the rock and roll heap. How? Question comes how, isn't it? Now in that case means understood this tool as a statement, right? So we need to talk about Roger Davis was the mastermind, Tina Turner who reached to the rock and roll hip. Got? So if you go to the next one, 3, having an ambition to try as screen acting. Now again, option 3 immediately goes to the Tina Turner. Not to talk about Roger Davis and Tina Turner. So, but in 4, it is stated in 1984, their work means Roger Davis, who was the mastermind, right, took Tina Turner into a different movies, right? In 1984, their work came to fruition with the release of Private Dancer, which won 3 Grammys and has sold 10 million copies worldwide, right? So that is what you would find out in option 4. Their work means referring to Roger Davis, Tina Turner, right? So 3 said, having an ambition to try screen acting, Turner accepted director Judge Miller's offer to star with Mel Gibson in Max Beyond Thunderstorm, but turned down Steven Spielberg when he was casting the lead in the color purple, right? So why did she do that? Because it was all masterminded by Roger Davis, right or not? So in that case, 2 and 1 makes the pair, right? 3 states means these people, right? So reach to a kind of pop means what? Rock and rolling. How do you prove that? Now, in 1984, when the movie released Private Dancer, so they got to a kind of means 3 Grammys and 10 million copies worldwide. This shows that rock and roll hit. 3 is nothing but indicating about means how all these things occur. All these things occur means because Turner accepted director George Miller's offer to star with Mel Gibson, Mad Max, turned down Steven Spielberg, right, casting the lead in the color purple, right? So therefore, we can say 2, 1, 4, 3 would be a correct sequence, right or not? Okay. Any further question?
So 9 and 10.
9 and 10. Okay, it's a little bit complicated questions because earlier we found out 4, now you find out 5 sentences. So let's look into the 9 number. It may be hardest of all for a pandemic. It may be hardest of all for a pandemic, as Ole Benedict acknowledged in his 2005 article, The Black Death, the greatest catastrophe ever. Right. Now, in that case, you can talk about the idea is stated about pandemic, right, and also indicating about or introducing Ole Benedict and his article. Okay. Now, option 2. This is never easy. Now, what is never easy? We need to find out. But it is difficult for some kinds of disaster than for others, right? So. 2 makes a question, this is never easy means what is never easy. 3 said, large numbers of people have died in short periods of time as a result of wars, disease and natural disaster. 3 stated that. So 4 said, the history of humanity is punctuated with purges. Right? The history of humanity is punctuated with purges. Now what do you mean by purges? The history of humanity is punctuated, right? With the purchase means called as that's something called as difficulty, challenges, right? We can make a connotation to that. The history of humanity is punctuated with the purchase or difficulties or challenges. So option 5 said, once these are passed, it falls to the survivors to count the dead. Isn't it? Now in that case, if I look into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, each sentence presents nothing but some kind of a unique thought, right? If I go to the means 1 is simply stated about somebody's written information, right? Or somebody has written some articles, right? And that have been given in option 1. So this could be a kind of an example, right? So second, and that article is on means pandemic. That how pandemic is nothing but possibly the most difficult one. 2, this is never easy, but it is harder for some kind of a disaster than for others, right? Now something is harder and also disaster for some people or others. So, and what is never easy, that we need to find out. 3 large numbers of people have died. Why large numbers of people have died? And in short period of time as a result of wars, disease and natural disaster. If I look into the 3 and if I look into the 4, that makes the pair. Why? Because 4 introduces the idea that the history of humanity is punctuated with purges. Purges means maybe referring to difficulty, challenges, or called as death of huge people, isn't it? So, how do you prove that? Because large numbers of people have died in short period of time, isn't it? So, that is what means proving to the option 4. When you say that the history of humanity is punctuated with purges, so how? Now large number of people have died in short period of time. Why? Now because of wars, disease and natural disaster. Right? Now, and then after, if I go to the 1 and 2 and 5, I find out 5 will be the next. Because it is stated that once these are passed, these means referring to what? Natural disaster, then after wars, and you can talk about disease. So when, like you talk about pandemic 19, when pandemic 19 covered, so after that we found out how many people are died. So similar to that, once these are passed, it falls to the survivors, those people who are alive. So they count the dead people, isn't it? So in that case, 4, 3, 5 makes the pair or makes the sequence here, right? Now 4, 3, 5. After that, 1 and 2. But in 2, the question we have, this is never easy. Now what is never easy? Now it is never easy to count the dead people, right? So, but it is harder for some kinds of disaster than for others, right? So it is harder for some kinds of disaster than for others. So in that case, 4, 3, 5, 2 makes the sense here. 1 would be the last one. It may be hardest of all the pandemics, all for a pandemic, isn't it? So hardest. So 4, 3, 5, 2, 1 would be the same.
I get 5 at the last.
Okay, next.
10.
10. So 10 stated what? Too many of them are, option 1 stated what? Too many of them are bland and evasive essays. Right. Bland and evasive essays in self-congratulation or self-justification. While you can say that memoirs of politicians who have been genuinely at the heart of decision making are often duly impersonal. In attempting to write a first draft of history, they lose the sense of what it was like to live through it. Right. Now, what do you find out in option 1? It is stated that too many of them are bland and evasive. Evasive, you understand? Pervasive, evasive, right? That's something called as a unique essence, you can say, in self-congratulations or self-justification, right? Too many of them are nothing but called as a self-congratulations or self-justification. While the memoirs of politicians, memoirs means called as a memory of politicians who have been authentically at the heart of decision making are often duly impersonal. In attempting to write a first draft of history, they lose the sense. So politicians lose the sense of what it was like to live through it. Right. Now that is what we find out in option 1. 2, rarely do they study them in their own right. Now they refer to whom? Maybe politicians, right? Rarely do they study from them in their own right. As far as we know from 1 and 2. So 1 introduces the politicians and 2 could refer to the politician, therefore day is mentioned. 3 said political memoirs are usually greeted with skepticism or boredom. Remember that they can refer to who, they can refer to what, isn't it? So if you observe 3 said political memoirs are usually greeted with doubts or boredom. Now in that case 3 is introducing political memoirs and 1 says that what? Now means too many of them are bland and evasive essays, isn't it? So in that case 3 and 1 makes sense because 3 stated political memoirs are usually means greeted with what? The doubts or boring, right? So and too many of them are nothing but a long essays, evasive essays. So and politicians who are genuinely at the heart of decision making, so often are impersonal, not like the personal memoirs. They are means losing the sense of what it was like to live through it, isn't it? So in that case 3 and 1 makes the sense to form a pair, right? Then after we find out of 4 is stated, consequently scholarship has treated the political memoir with indifference. For literary scholars, it is a bastard from somewhere between autobiography and history. For historians, it is deeply suspect source to be approached with extreme caution, isn't it? Now, in that case, means when you find out 3 and 1, right? 4 said consequently, which is called as a finally, right? So, and a concluding indicator. So we consider that 4 would be the last sentence. But if you see 3 and 1, 3 stated about political memoirs, greeted with doubts or boredom. 1 is stated about why it is boredom and doubtful, because long essays and also impersonal to the politicians and doesn't make sense, right? And that's the reason finally means scholarship treated the political memoir, right? Political memoir with a means indifference manner, right? For literary scholars, it is bastard. So different people have a different notion to the political memoirs, right? So 314 makes the sense because 3 state introduces the idea. 1 talks about the region. 4 is called as a means different people have a different ideas to it finally. Then if I go to the last one, historians plunder memoirs for quotations and condemn them for inaccuracy, right? So historians plunder memoirs. So what kind of a memoirs? Those political memoirs which scholars consider different, historians consider different. Historians consider quotations and condemn them for inaccuracy, right? So in that case 3, 1, 4, 5 makes sense. 2 is what? Rarely do they study them in their own right. They means referring to historians, right? Not to the politicians, not to the scholars, but to the historians, isn't it? So in that case 3, 1, 4, 5, 2, right? So that is the way you're supposed to go from the beginning to end, right? Okay. Clear? Okay. Question number 13. It's a Paris summary question. Okay. So what does this Paris summary question point out? We need to identify the best part, right? Best option. Okay, let's see that. So what does the question ask here? Paleontologist. I hope you understood the meaning of paleontologist. So, what is that? Fossils. So animals, bones, and they collect the animal bones for the research purpose. Paleontologists have developed a new theory to explain why the ancient ancestors of dinosaurs stopped moving about on all fours and rose up on just their two hind legs, right? Now, which is known as a bipedalism. Bipedalism means two, right? So, which refers to the locomotion on two legs. In dinosaurs was inherited from ancient and much smaller photodinosaurs. So, the trick to this evolution is in their tails. The tails of photodinosaurs had big leg powering muscles that provided the strength and power required to stand on and move with their two back feet. Right. Over time, photodinosaurs evolved to run faster, and eventually some of them gave up quadrupedal walk altogether. Isn't it? Now, if you observe that, the whole statement talks about who? Dinosaurs. Right. So they do have four legs, but they walk on two legs. Right. So, which is known as a bipedalism. Right. So, and the question comes like why they do that, right? And after that it is also said that if we go for the summary of it, right? Now, what do we need to follow so that we find out the best summary? So, let's talk about it. Why the ancient ancestor of dinosaurs stopped moving about on all fours and rose up on just their two hind legs, right? It is a question. So, bipedalism, so it is also stated that which refers to locomotion on two legs in dinosaurs was inherited from ancient and much smaller photodinosaurs, right? So, the trick to this evolution is in the tails, right? So, it means giving importance to the tails, right? The tails of photodinosaurs had big, right, leg powering muscles that provided the strength and power required to stand on and move with their two back feet. Right. So this is the reason why they walk on two legs. Right. So over time, photodinosaurs changed to run faster, and finally some of them gave up quadruped walked together. Some of them. Now, if which answer you chose? A. Now A said paleontologists have developed a new theory, which states that it was the big muscular tail of the ancient ancestors of dinosaurs that goaded them to stop moving, right, about on all fours and rise up on just two hind legs. Goaded का मतलब क्या होता है? That forced them to stop moving about on all fours and rise up on just two hind legs? Or is it that they had big leg powering muscles helped them to stand on? Look into it. As per paleontologists, the tails of photodinosaurs, the ancient ancestor of dinosaurs, had big leg powering muscles that help them to stand on, move and run with the hind legs. Isn't it? So you can say that the tails, right? Not the tails goad them. Tails support them to, means or giving them nothing. The tails are nothing but called as a big and leg powering muscles. It means they are not the legs, but they do have the leg powering muscles, for which they are able to stand on the two hind legs. Isn't it? But A stated that what? Means A stated that new theory, it was the big muscular tail of the ancient ancestor of dinosaurs that goaded them to stop moving. Right? It is not goaded them to stop moving. It is helping them to moving. Right? So, or standing on the two hind legs. Got my point? So, if you go to the option B, as per paleontologists, photodinosaurs had big muscle tails that gave them the power to stand on and move with their hind legs like modern lizard. It compares. It is irrelevant, which is not even given. isn't it? Option 4, paleontologists have found that adaptations like hind limb elongation allowed ancient dinosaurs to run faster, while smaller forelimbs helped to reduce body weight and improve balance. Right. So this one is completely out of the thought, because the main idea of the text is what paleontologists explain that the means what we can say that the tails of auto dinosaurs means have the tails, and those tails have the power of leg muscle, power of what? Power of muscles, leg muscles, which help them to run, which help them to stand on the two hind legs. That is the main idea, isn't it? So therefore option C fits here. Okay.
So question number 24.
Question number 24. Okay. So it's I think a sentence replacement, sentence placement. Sorry. 24. What does it say? The writing is beautiful. The writing is beautiful, but it is also deadly. Now, in that case, we need to understand the whole text given here is indicating about writing, right? And it gives nothing but a paradoxical thought. One side the writing is beautiful, the other side it is stated deadly. Now, this is the sentence which we need to place in the 4 of the blanks given in the text. Look at the paragraph. What does it say? In a future scenario, writing and AI are indistinguishable. Indistinguishable means unable to distinguish, right? The lines between human and machine are blurred, not clearly visible, right? We are no longer able to tell the difference between a sentence created by a human and a sentence created by a machine, right? So the only thing that is clear is that the writing is perfect, right? But there is a question, contrast. Writing is perfect, so but there is a darkness lurking beneath the perfect. So it gives nothing but a kind of a negativity. Now, after that it is stated perfect surface. Yeah, beneath the perfect surface. So remember that when you attain such kind of a question, no, you read the whole text and draw the kind of a thought that what does this text tell, and each blank after that after each blank, what is the sentence indicating? Before the blank, what is the sentence indicating? What does the sentence mean? Right? And whether the sentence could fit here or not, that is the last part. So here we find out, means lurking beneath the perfect surface. The writing is lifeless. Now look into it. Means you pointed the earlier sentence that there is a darkness attracting or lurking beneath the perfect surface. So, and after that it is given the example. The writing is lifeless, the writing is emotionless, it is devoid of all feeling. Now these are the examples which are defining what? Which are defining that how writing is a darkness lurking beneath the perfect surface. Right or not? So the writing is lifeless, emotionless, it is devoid of all feeling. Now after that, the machines are. Now in that case you talk about the writing, because your discussion is AI and writing, isn't it? And you are stating that how writing is turning or attracting into a kind of a darkness situation, and you give example to it. Now you need to talk about that how AI takes it. The machines have stripped away the humanity of writing. Right? Now when you put that the writing is lifeless, emotionless and devoid of all feeling. So the second one is stated, the machines have stripped away the humanity of writing, leaving behind a cold mechanical shell. It means the region is called as the machine. Right? Then after, it is a weapon. It is a weapon means which is a weapon. So maybe called as a the machines, or you can say that, okay, the machines have, okay, well, I just move to the next one. It is devoid of all feeling. The machines have stopped away or stripped away. Stripped away, right? Stripped away the humanity of writing, or taken away the humanity of writing, leaving behind a cold and mechanical shell. So it is a weapon, means writing is a weapon, right? That can be used to destroy everything that we hold dear. Right? Now look into it. It is a weapon that can be used to destroy everything that we hold dear. Now in that case, look into the before the sentence and after the sentence. The machines have stripped away the humanity of writing, leaving behind a cold, mechanical shell. So what the machines have done? Now after this you have completed, or you have given all the ideas and make the difference between writing and machines writing and humans writing, isn't it? And then after, when you go to the next one, means you find out that it is a weapon that can be used, right? Used to destroy everything. How do you consider this? You can consider this when you say that machines have taken humanity of writing, leaving behind a cold mechanical shell, right? After that you can say the writing is beautiful, but it is also deadly. It is a weapon. Why it is deadly? Because it is a weapon, right or not? That can be used to destroy everything that we hold clear, right or not? So deadly तभी यूज होगा जब ये weapon होगा. Weapons are deadly, right or not? So one side you are saying beautiful, the other side you are saying deadly, because it is a weapon, right? So, and the machines are slowly erasing our memories, isn't it? How it is a deadly weapon because it erases our memories, isn't it? So our emotions, our very humanity, we are living in a world where writing is controlled by machines, right? So, and the machines are slowly killing us, right or not? So that's why option 3 would be the answer.
So we are placing it in option 1, that is redundancy.
Redundancy. Good. Got? Understood? Rest.
So what is the difference between that best essence and summary? Please.
See, best essence is called as the main idea, right? The best essence means that presents. Let's say that if I start with the summary. Summary is what? Summary contains means main idea. Summary contains wording on your own language. Summary must be what? Means 1/3 of the original text. Summary must also, what do we say that? Contains all the relevant information. All the relevant information beside main ideas. So ideas which are helping to the main idea. Also consider subordinate ideas. Can be considered, right? So, and it should be grammatically and free from all kind of a punctuation error, right? Next stage called as when we are writing summary, means we do not contain examples, we do not contain means idioms and phrases, we do not also means use analogy. Analogy means another information which is used for comparison. We do not use that. We do not use also quoted information, isn't it? So these are the things are highly necessary when you are writing summary. So, but when the summary is given in the question in the form of identify which option is presenting the best summary, it indicates that the rules that you follow, right? Like 4 options are given, which option is a lack of information, which option is the irrelevant information, which option is excessive information, which option contains examples, which option contains idioms, quoted, analogy, which option means contain extra or irrelevant information. So we need to filter them. Some options are also contained with the grammatical and punctuation errors. Some choices or some options are also having with disruption of information. It means they have given main ideas, subordinate ideas, properly managed, but they have not highlighted main ideas. They have given subordinate ideas as the first one and neglecting the main ideas. Right? In that case, it is called as disrupting the ideas. Disrupting ideas can be also called as means main ideas are given, but subordinate ideas which are necessary for helping to the main ideas is also not provided. Right? So in that case, out of these means choices, right, we need to find out which one contains the best essence. Best essence means called as best idea that the main text point out. Whatever the main idea that you draw from the main text, the same idea must be drawn from the choice. Right? You may find out the summary is given. Right? But which one is properly arranged, which one is not making any disruption, right? That is what called the main essence, main idea which is clearly identified. Right? That is what called as the best essence from the text. Got the point? Fine, that's all for the day. We'll meet in the next class. I hope you understood everything.